This is your brain. And this
is your brain on Tom.
Hello, hi, what's up? How's it going? Your brain on Tom, here it is. I know I promised guests, but I fucked up again. I'm sorry. Forgive me. I don't know how to fucking schedule things. I'm bad. We'll get through it as a group, as a unit. But, someone should apply to be my secretary down below. Email the show. Do this for me. You do it for free, though. Or actually, even better, you can do it like I do and pay for the show to happen. So you can pay me to be a part of the show, much like I pay to have it going. And then we can be like a nice little thing. Like a pyramid scheme, but like just a pyramid scheme where I'm the one that benefits, but you work harder. It'd be great. Yeah, you're Brandon Tom. Hi. Episode 40 something. I don't know. I'm really bad at hosting this. Yeah, so I have things I was going to talk about anyway. So let's do that instead. Because I was trying to figure out places to like put this stuff. Because I was like, oh, well, an arc in One Piece ended. I would like to talk about that. But like, the guest has to be right and that kind of stuff. So fuck it, let's do it ourselves. And I saw a bunch of movies. A lot of Power Rangers stuff. You know, usual stuff that I do. So yeah, I guess we'll just start. And I think the one thing I want to talk about the most, a decent chunk, and first, is I finished Power Rangers Zeo, the second series, 4th season, where they get like magic space rocks, give them magic powers. It's actually really good. I for some reason I had like all of the toys for that, but I don't remember like any episodes, which is weird. I don't know how that happened. It was pretty cool. I liked it a lot. It was actually pretty fun. Did they do anything crazy? I think the cast stayed the same throughout. Yeah. For 50 episodes, no Rangers switched, which is weird. That was odd. And I actually kind of like, well, we'll get to it in a second. Yeah, so cast stayed the same, which was nice. They had little cool powers. They have some of the cooler Zords. I really like them a lot. Like the red battle one. He's like a little red guy with like Gatling guns on his wrists. He's pretty dope. He shoots things with bullets. Like literally just shoots bullets. Yeah, that was cool. Those are like cool little things. I had a toy of what is his name? It's like A.U. Ulrich. I think it's how you pronounce it. He's like a Tiki Zord thing, kind of like Ninjor, but not in the show as much. And for some reason, he's like 2 episodes, maybe 3. I had a toy of him, and I had a very vivid memory of his episode being introduced. Because I think what happened is I got the toy before I saw the episode, so then I was like, what the fuck is this thing? And then I saw the episode, so for some reason that like embedded itself in my memory. Yeah, I had a toy of him. I don't know why. He had no cool transformations. He didn't really do anything. He got big once and stabbed a monster once. I think he lost to another one. I was on the wiki and it was like something like he only won 1 battle, or was he only defeated a monster once. He was like part of a fight, but he did the final blow only once because he was barely in the show. But I liked it a lot. It was a lot of fun. It was good, wholesome fun, and the music was fucking dope. So good, love it. 10 out of 10 music. And then I finished it, and I was like, that was cool. Let's get into Turbo. And so I rented the movie on the internet, because it's canon, which is weird, because the first movie's not canon. Actually, none of the other movies are canon. That's the only one that is. And I guess they were going to try to do that for another series. I believe it was Lost Galaxy? No, Time Force. They were going to do a Time Force movie. And this one bombed so fucking hard, they're like, not again. Yeah, I haven't seen this movie in literally 20 years, which is a weird thing to say, but most of Power Ranger stuff I've done hasn't been done since like 20 years, because I'm 25, and I was watching it since I was like 2. So a lot of the stuff I have been watching was that, and like right around when Turbo starts, like I was like 5 years old. It was like 97 when the movie came out, and then I probably started watching, I watched on a VHS once, and like at my babysitter's house, which had to have been, well, it would have been anywhere between like whenever it came out, like March of 97 to like September of 98 when I went to kindergarten, because that was like the last period of time I would be at this babysitter's house. So somewhere in there, I saw this VHS. So we're really coming close, if not already past, the 20th anniversary, my only other time watching this Turbo movie. I think it's like at 16% on Rotten Tomatoes, which is a bullshit metric, but just to give you a tone of how this movie went over with people. It's not good. It's kind of dumb. Apparently, the script originally was 3 hours long, and is going to go into why they lose the Zeo powers, and all the Zeo Zords get blown up, and stuff goes on. And it just kind of plays out like a long episode, which is whatever. It's fine. Pacing still equally kind of weird. It's actually weirder because it's 100 minutes, 90 minutes, something like that. I think it's a little over 90 minutes. So they clearly didn't have their footing in doing a long version of an episode, which is weird because they do something like multi-parters. Do you think they would just kind of copy that format? But it just didn't work as well. Divatox is sick. She's super cool. And a weird thing about that, so the movie's fine. It's whatever. It's not great. It's establishing stuff. I remember as a child. So the big things with this season is it's all cars, obviously turbo. There's no real indication as to where they come from. The fan theory is Billy built them because he ends up leaving the show right at the end of Zeo due to homophobia and the crew and stuff. And none of the cast, from what I've read, it was just the behind the scenes crew, directors, producers, stuff like that was really homophobic. Because all I really want is to make sure that all the Rangers hang out in real life as people. That brings me joy. I follow a lot of them on Instagram, and when they take pictures together, I'm like, oh, good, they're friends. How wonderful. And I don't think there's bad blood between David Yost and the original cast. I think it was just the behind the scenes people, but he ended up leaving. Under 10 episodes left or something. He just peaced out of the show. Apparently he was going to be a big part of the movie, and there's a whole bunch of if you go through various episodes, or I think it might be on his Wikipedia page too, or his Power Rangers wiki page, it'll show you there's a lot of thread lines they were potentially going to build off from him, but for a while they were in red herring, using him as a red herring, to be the Gold Ranger who turned out to be Jason from the first season. Because he kept disappearing. He's oh, I'm working on this big project. And that thread line or plot line just went nowhere. So a lot of fans are oh, he was building the Zeo Zords. Because they kind of show up, and then Zordon's hey, totally just go, Alpha, turn this thing on, go into this other room and use the new Zords. We got them. They're cars. They're cool. Well, no. Only really the pink one and the red one are cool. Every other one after that, it's a box. Even the red one looks really dumb. It looks like a cardboard box that's thinner. But 4 and 3, which is green and yellow, just look like cardboard boxes with wheels, and it's silly. But the pink one's sick. Wind Chaser, I think it's called. And it's the arms, so it splits in half. And at one point, while Kat's fighting in the Zord, which is weird because it's a car, but she's just fighting in a car. And she splits it in half. And I was shit, I used to do that with the toy all the time because I had the full Megazord of that one. I only really had the Megazord of that one and the original one, and then I had very small versions of the Megazords, little, I don't know, 5-inch figures, maybe even smaller, 4, of the Zeo ones. So I had a full transformer, pull the parts off, put them together. They were cars, they pulled apart, and they can become actual the limbs of the Megazord. And I used to do that all the time with the pink one because it's a really cool sleek car design. It's the only one that doesn't look like a box. And you can pull it apart, and I used to do that where I'd pull apart, and then you could the way it worked, because it was just little nubs that push together, you could pull it apart and then transform it and then push it back together, so I had a cooler version of the car. It was a sick toy. If you can find a version of the Wind Chaser Zord out there, I'd recommend buying it. It's pretty dope. It's a cool fucking toy. I should probably find that thing. It's really fucking big too. It's maybe a foot and a half tall when you put it all together. But yeah. What was I saying? The cars? They're cars. That's the powers of this one. They're cars. And it's, for a while when I was a child, because I didn't have an understanding of plot structure, I was oh, it's more because I always kind of assumed space alien gods gave them powers, the Rangers with the power coins, oh, hey, this thing happened. Ninja's hey, have powers. Someone just gives them powers, but this one was clearly built, and then they're hey, we figured shit out. It's the best shit ever. So go ahead and use this shit. Which I would like to assume is Billy, because I like Billy. And then what else? Oh, and then the other big thing. This is as a child. So I was okay, it's a car one. Weird. Not a huge fan of that. And then Rocky, which I only literally only recently found out. And then forgot this was a thing. So Rocky ends up leaving. Apparently due to injury, but also he wanted to go work on a dojo in real life. But I believe the injury one, because I've heard that complaint more than once. Jason ends up leaving the show the second time when he's a Gold Ranger. He leaves it due to injury, And then Kimberly also stated that when she initially left, I don't think she said this since, but when she initially left, or like a couple years after she left, someone interviewed her and she was like, "Oh, it's horribly unsafe on set. So I just say I gotta go." And I don't totally doubt it, because like some of the stunts, like even if you put a pad down, like you still have to like do a flip off a rock or something, like that's gotta hurt. So I totally kind of believe that like it's probably a rough gig, even though you're not the ones in the suits. You like even just as the person, and like you have to like get kicked in the chest by someone, like not hard, but and then fall over or something. I can imagine that's pretty painful. So in the movie, they're like, all right, we got to kind of write out Rocky, and he just breaks his back. they're like practicing for some tournament, and I had such a vivid memory of this. Of like, I know the movie starts and there's like a wrestling ring in the middle, and there's a big stadium, because a lot of the scenes happen with like characters' reaction shots in the stadium, like in the stands. But I don't remember the context. They're having like a fight, or like warming up for a fighting tournament, or practicing or whatever, and like they're going kind of hard in the paint, and there's like their coach or someone is there. I guess it's their coach, because he tells them what to do, and then like he's like, "Rocky, hit this pad," and he's like says something to Tommy like, "We gotta just go harder," and he just like full on like. Is it a moonsault? Is that what that move's called? Where you like kick your leg up and kind of go sideways with it? Whatever. He like fucking just full throws his body at this fucking thing for this kick, and just goes over the fucking ropes and breaks his back. And he's just like a neck brace and his back's broken. He sits in the hospital. And like when they go, or like right before that scene, like Kat and Tanya, who, by the way, they try to do another thing about Tanya's parents. Ulrich, the little Tiki guy, the Tiki Zord guy, her parents found him, because apparently her parents are explorers, which raises further more questions when they were like, when Kat and Tanya would talk about going home, who are you living with? Kat's from Australia, like she's an exchange student who went to live with Aisha, and then Aisha went back to the past, and then like, okay, so let's just pretend for a second that when Aisha went to the past, it somehow changed the time continuum where Aisha's parents, because Aisha went to the past as a child, but like she was like meeting her ancestors, and then that's weird. So then like, okay, so Aisha kind of grows up in Africa as opposed to moving to Africa. Sure, let's go with that. But then like, so then Tanya's parents come over here, but then Tanya's parents are also explorers, so they were never home, and like Tanya doesn't know where her parents are. So whose house are they living in? I need to know. Why do they keep doing this? I like Tanya. She has a really cool move that she does in the movie where she like when you like grab your leg, your foot, and you like pull it back towards you, like stretch out your calf or your thigh. She like does that and then drops down a monster's head, and I was like, that's fucking sick. She's just like springboard that motherfucker. That's awesome. What was I saying? I got confused because Tanya's like history is so absurd. What was I saying? Oh yeah. So like there's a thing where like the Kanya and Kat are like, they're like taking care of children, and then like, so they're like on a bus, like to a summer camp or something, and then they're taking them back, and like all these kids are singing like Old MacDonald. There's something horrible, but they're not like going in any of the verses of these like children's songs that you would think. They're just saying the same like chorus over and over again. And Kat comes up to this little kid, Justin, and she's like, "Hey Justin, you should sing," and he's like, "No," and I'm like, "Fuck right, don't sing. This is horrible. Get off this fucking bus." But I digress. I just thought that theme was kind of funny, because he was like kind of like, he wasn't pouting. He was just like, "Nah, I'm not feeling songs, man." She was like, "All right, you should feel songs though." I was like, "Nah, I ain't got the music in me." I'm adding way more dialogue than the scene actually has, but whatever. And then, yeah, so like this kid is like somehow attached to these kids, the Rangers. Somehow this kid has a relationship with these people. I feel like I've seen every moment of their lives in this show, and I've never heard of this child. They've never mentioned a Justin. They've never mentioned a small child that they like to hang out with who's 12. And they're seniors. The first like episodes of the show, Turbo, is them like graduating high school, and this kid's 12. He might be younger in like the script, but the child's age was 12 at the time of filming, I think. I did the math briefly, but I may have done it wrong. Yeah, so long story short, this kid Justin becomes the new Blue Ranger because he like hangs out in Rocky's room while he's unconscious like a weirdo under his bed. Well, he like goes to like say hi, and then the other Rangers show up, and he's like, "Oh no," and he runs under the bed, and then Zoran calls him, and then he's like, "Oh my god, they're the superheroes," and he comes out of the bed, and Rocky's like, "You were here the whole time?" And then he becomes the Blue Ranger because we have to replace Rocky. And he sucks. I hate him so much. I hate this kid so much. I shouldn't hate a child, but God, I hate this child. And like I remember being like a 5-year-old and being like, nah, none of this. Get this child out of here. No, we don't do this. We don't play this game here. Get out of here. Rangers are teenagers. Rangers are older than me. Not someone who's like a couple years older than me. No, fuck this. Get him out of here. So I never really watched Turbo as a child because it turns out Justin is the only one that doesn't leave. What the fuck? Like, everyone, weird fact about like the production of Turbo, like about 20 episodes in, this is a 45 episode season, which is a lot. But about halfway through, the original cast phases out, such as Tommy, Adam, Tanya, and Kat phase out. 4 new people. The only one whose name I can remember is TJ, who replaces Tommy. I don't remember the other three's names. But they all come in. Am I right about TJ? I think I am. There is a TJ who's a Red Ranger. I don't remember if I think it's him. Yeah, regardless, doesn't matter. He phases in. Makes sense. They've been in, especially like someone like Tommy, has been on the show for a fuckload. He's been in there a ton. So it makes sense. Phase him out. Weird that they wouldn't just do it initially, but whatever. Because it's not like a ton of episodes. It's not even like halfway, literally the halfway mark. It's just like, I think it's actually 19, not 20. And then also midway through the season, so the woman who plays the main villain, Divatox, who's awesome. I love her. She's like a space pirate lady. I love her. The woman who plays her in the movie is different than the woman who plays her in the show because the woman who played her in the movie went on maternity leave. And then halfway through the season, she comes back to redo the role, and then the other girl leaves. She also has another role in this show, so it ends up happening in this first few episodes. Zordon and Alpha peace, and they go back to Zordon's planet. I don't remember the name, but I think it's like Eltar? They said it in the show, and I knew exactly what they were talking about before they said it. They were like, oh, we're getting readings from Eltar. And I was like, that's where Zordon's from. And they're like, Zordon's going to go home. I was like, oh, wow, look at me. I know lore. I think that's what it's Eltar. So they go back. And I was like, all right, weird that you'd also have a few episodes with them to then immediately phase them out. But sure, whatever. Let's play your game, Saban. And then they bring another Alpha out. So Alpha 5 leaves, which I thought was weird. He's a robot. He doesn't really give a shit where he is. But sure, Zoran can take him along with him. That's fine. He needs a caretaker. And everyone's sad. And then the door opens and Alpha 6 walks out, who's the exact same robot with a far more annoying voice. He's like got like a Brooklyn accent, but also with like the high-pitchedness of like Alpha. It's the worst thing. I hate it. And then this other woman shows up, whose name I can't remember. Dementia? No, that sounds bad. I don't remember her name. She's like a lady wizard, similar to how Zordon's a wizard, like a floating head. She's like a floating ghost lady wizard. And she just goes and flies into the tube that Zordon was hanging in. And is also in the tube. Why? Why not just keep him then? Why would you do that? Why would you just replace 2 characters to then replace them with things that would do the exact same job they did previously? Why would you do this? So, they're gone. I couldn't find any information on it. I thought like the guy who played Zordon, who hadn't actually been playing him for a while, they just used the guy's likeness from the first Zordon, and then they replaced his voice. But I couldn't find any information if that guy wanted to leave, or what. Because I know like, I think it's In Space. It's either In Space or Lost Galaxy. I don't remember which one. They both tie into this story, I believe. At least In Space, I forget if Lost Galaxy has anything to do with the Zordon saga, which is what I'm going to call it from here on out to make more sense. Because only the first few seasons, I don't remember the number. It's either 5 or 6. No. Yeah, 5 or 6. No, I'm on 5. So 6 or 7 seasons tie together as one continuity, and then they start not being the same continuity, except for maybe the ones with the big crossovers. And then, is it Dino Thunder? Is that the one? There's like 3 different dinosaur ones, including Mighty Morphin. I think it's Dino Thunder, where Tommy comes back and is like the 6th Ranger, although I think he's the 4th Ranger, because eventually they kind of do stuff with those. There's only 3 of them. But I don't remember. I think it's Dino Thunder. I forget. But Tommy comes back as Tommy. And then, yeah, so there's other stuff in there. I don't know. And then there's like the big crossover episode, like seasons, because like they would do like every few years do like large Sentai like crossovers where like the legendary battle is the one where like literally every single one showed up for like 30 seasons. Like there was at least a representative from each Sentai series, and they like redo that in Rangers, which is kind of awesome. I don't know how they like worked around it with like the ones that aren't in the Rangers, because Mighty Morphin's the 19th season, I think, in Sentai, 19, 18, something like that, season of Sentai. So there's like way more history there that like they wouldn't show up. So I don't know how much footage they end up using, or if they just reshot a bunch of stuff. We'll get there eventually. What the hell was I saying? Oh yeah, so they just like replace like these weird characters like immediately. And oh yeah, and then that woman who plays the new Zordon is also the current villain woman. She's the current Divatox. So the good guy and the bad guy are the same lady. And then the other lady from the movie comes back. And so this one lady doesn't lose her job, she just has less jobs. And then this other girl comes back and plays that role. But yeah, Justin never leaves. Justin's terrible. You've never met a good Justin. No one's ever met a good Justin. I can't name a single one. I can't name a single Justin other than this kid. That's all I think about right now. But bad. No good. No buen. These are jokes. Yeah, I don't like this kid at all. I don't really like him. I don't like the fact that it's a child. I never have. I think it's weird that like it's been like a consistent thing within my personality where it's like, nope, Rangers aren't children. And I don't think they ever go back and try that again. And they initially, according to the wiki, which I love, I literally like leave it open when I watch the show, so because I just like learning about the behind the scenes stuff. Like Bulk and Skull are chimpanzees in the beginning part of this season because they were going off to do a spin-off show, which I fucking wish existed. God, I love those two so much. So they just voice acted like these monkeys, because like they could talk to each other, but like not to other people. But fuck, these monkeys are awesome. They're the best. God bless these monkeys. They're the greatest. Not the monkeys. Bulk and Skull. Well, I guess the monkeys are great too, because it's also them, but I really like Bulk and Skull a lot. They're fucking wonderful. If I ever have to like do a thing, like I'm filming a thing, and I need like 2 goofballs, I know who I'm calling. I want them so bad. I just want them. They're so delightful. They're such delightful people. I think Bulk is the Yellow Ranger in the Twitch series, the Twitch D&D campaign Hyperforce that they do. I think. He's involved. I believe he's the Yellow Ranger. I believe so. I don't know for sure. I've never watched it. I've never watched a D&D campaign in my life, or like listened to one. So that'd be the one to start with for me, but I don't know if I could do it. I don't know how much of it's like edited down for like how long it goes. I have no idea. I haven't watched it. I've watched like the intro that they do before streams. So I'm like, what the fuck is this? And so I watched it a little bit, and then I went and researched it, and like this is a thing, and like they developed like a whole system, and it's crazy. It's like for something that shouldn't or doesn't make sense that exists, but does, is crazy robust, and I'm actually pretty impressed. Like I maybe one day will take the rules and attempt it, but that day is not today, nor anytime soon. What was I saying? I keep going off these tangents. Yeah. So Turbo's weird. It's kind of whack. I don't know. See how it goes. It's like it's got a really cool transformation sequence though when they go into the cars. Oh, that's another thing too. Is like the Zeo like transformation sequence from like young boy to superhero, and young lady, is fucking rad. And like I can like do it now. Like, I've like memorized it because I'm a nerd, and like I really think it's cool. But I can't even tell you. I can't begin. I'm sure I've watched only 3 episodes in a movie of Turbo, but I could not even tell you how to fucking do this transformation sequence. The arm motions are so fast, and they're so quick, and there's so much going on, and I don't understand. It's so much. But the Zeo one's so cool. The best. I love it. What was I saying? I keep doing this. I'm like in the middle of something, and I have another thought, and I go off in another direction. I need to do that. But yeah, Turbo, not the worst thing ever. Like the actual show portion of it's fine. It's just kind of weird knowing like that what's going to happen. Like all this how like there's gonna be a huge shakeup like in the middle, but we're just gonna pretend nothing happened. And like I don't know. There's gonna be a lot of stuff. At one point they go to Zordon's planet and there's a whole bunch of adventures in space, and it becomes like there's a lot more space stuff and like the alien races and all that kind of stuff tied together. So that'll be cool. I look forward to all that. I kind of think that's why they've sent Zordon away, to kind of tie that in a way where like they go into his past. And like I remember watching a thing where it was him not as a floating head and all that stuff. So it all ties in together somehow. But for now, I think it's just weird that they were like, this woman is like a floaty full ghost, like a full body. Like when they first meet her, she's not in the tube. She like ghost morphs from the floor in front of them. And then she's like cool, what up, kids? And then floats off into the tube, which also, the power chamber for Turbo looks like dog shit compared to what it was in Zeo. His Zeo was sick. Like, the back wall had, like, all of the Mighty Morphin suits, like, in, like, a Batman, like, display case. Like, Batman in the Batcave just has a bunch of fucking old Bat costumes, like, in display. They had, like, that. And then in the middle, had, like, a cool little, like, weapon rack of all their weapons from Mighty Morphin, and it was sick. The only thing it didn't have was anything to do with the Green Ranger, because that's technically not theirs. That was Rita's stuff. Like, she brought that to them, which is why he's like a bad guy. I digress. But it had like the White Ranger and then the other five, which is really cool, and I thought it was really awesome. And then in this one, they just kind of replaced them with like the same tubes, but they just glow the color that was the suit that was there. And I don't know if that's like, well, what if I had to guess? Because like the Turbo movie, the reason it doesn't do anything with like the transition from Zeo, and it's not 3 hours long, which honestly I kind of wish it was. As someone invested in the actual lore in the story, which is a weird sentence, they wanted to try to like bridge the gap between people who like pieced in Zeo and people who like only watched Mighty Morphin. They're like, hey, let's try to wrangle them back in, while still kind of referencing stuff that happened. And then like it was weird. It's a weird decision. I don't know why they did it, because like in retrospect, just do it for the people who care. That's all you do. Like. What was I listening to today? I was listening to some podcast, and they were talking about, it was talking about the new Destiny stuff. I don't give a shit about Destiny, but like, people are like, they're gonna start doing stuff for the hardcore. Fucking great. Fucking trickle-down economics actually exists in games. Appeal to your highest common denominator, and it just falls down. People will try to, make your game like, something can emulate. Like, the reason like League of Legends is so good is because you see a pro player do a cool thing, and then you can go and immediately do that cool thing, because the game is not mechanically difficult as compared to like a Dota, where it's very mechanically difficult. So even if you see someone do a cool thing, like even a Street Fighter, for example, you see someone do a cool thing, if you can't do those inputs, it's going to be really hard, and you're going to be kind of dissuaded. But like in something that's simple, like League of Legends or an Overwatch, you see someone do a cool thing, you can just go and apply that in your gameplay, and it grows, and you get excited, you want to go play the game. That's how it works. So, trickle-down economics of video games, asterisks, that's how that should work. Because that's how you should always aim for the top, appease to the top, make them happy, and then the players will come up, because they'll be like, oh, this is really cool. And like, if the players are happy, they want to compete, they want to stream the game, it builds a thing for you. Just listen to me, video game developers. Like, just listen to me. Come to me. I got you. Like, Boss Key, I got you. Radical Heights can be a thing. Just come to me, and I'm going to help you. I know what to do. You gotta get a guy. You gotta get one of them streamers, like Dr. Disrespect, who's perfect for this, 'cause that's literally his aesthetic. If you watch any of his other content, like his fucking transitions or his YouTube channel or any of that shit, this is his aesthetic, this 80s, like, retro thing, that's his thing. So get him to be your fucking your flagship man. Let him go the charge. Have him fucking yell your name at the top of mountains. Make him your guy. You got your ninja for Fortnite. And you have, like, I guess Dr. Respect was the PUBG one, but he fucking constantly bitches about this game. So make the game to his liking, listen to what he says, make him love this, make him evangelize your game, talk about your game, be your champion, and then build from there. People will be like, I'll go play with Duck, because I want to do this, or I'm going to go stream snipe Duck, because they're cunts, or whatever. Doesn't matter. Do the things he needs. I digress. Isn't that weird, though, that, like, Bosky is like Cliffy B's studio, who came from Epic, and so like here's PUBG, who makes this thing, and then Epic like copies them to make Fortnite, because Epic makes the engine that PUBG runs on, and then the guy who is like the poster child of Epic, Cliffy B, is like, my studio is gonna also make a battle royale, and so like battle royale is like this weird incestuous child of the genre, where it's like everyone involved has like fucked each other, like in the loving way, with kisses. Like, it's so weird. So weird. I can't wrap my head around it. Where it's like, hi, we're PUBG. We're going to use the Unreal Engine to make our game. Oh, hey, we're Epic. We make the Unreal Engine. And we didn't realize our engine could do this. So we're going to take this game that no one actually cares to play, Fortnite, and we're going to make it like this PUBG. And we're going to literally say, hey, we just like PUBG a lot, so we're going to make our game PUBG. And now we're more popular. And then this guy who used to work for Epic is like, hey, I'm over here at Boss Key. Don't mind if I do, and I'm going to take this idea as well. That's so weird. It's so weird. Like, this could just come full circle in some weird way. That would be wonderful. I don't know how. At this point, it's weird, but like it's I don't know. Very I guess H1Z1 would have to do a thing because they kind of started the first one, and that's weird too. They like changed their name. Like I forget the zombie mode of it is not called H1Z1 anymore. So weird. This battle royale thing is fucking whack, dog. I don't know what's going on. But I digress. I just maybe want to talk about how weirdly incestuous battle royale is, but like I've had no one to sit down and talk to it. So I think it's so strange. So that just spilled over. That's been sitting inside me, deep. I've been wanting to say it for a long time, but I've had no one to talk to it about. I guess since we're talking about video games now, and I've moved on from Power Rangers, I'll report in occasionally as I progress down this path of Turbo. I really want to get to In Space, because those are the dopest fucking suits ever. Just look up the second dopest. So if you're looking for fucking sick-ass Sentai suits, look up In Space, because it's fucking rad. And then Super Mega Force is the greatest thing to ever happen to humanity, and we all need to be doing that forever for everything. Everything needs to look like Super Mega Force always. And I've never even seen the show. I've just seen the suits, and holy shit, fuck, I want to cosplay as the Red Ranger for that. Holy shit. It looks so cool. They're pirates. The helmets are so cool. They have like fucking jackets with actual, like, it's the dopest shit ever. I fucking love Super Mega Force so much. But until before that happened, in like 2013 or something, I thought In Space was dope as fuck. I love In Space. It's super minimalist and looks really cool. It's like part space helmet, but also a Power Ranger suit. It's sick. I love it. So I'll report back when I make ground in Turbo and or make it into space. I don't know. We'll see what happens. So the other thing I want to talk about briefly was God of War, and not the new one. I'm actually playing the original one, like a plebe. Well, no, actually, I didn't play the first one since it came out in 2003. Is that right? I don't know. It must be. Yeah. It would be after 2003. 2002? It'd be after 2002, because I definitely had Kingdom Hearts by then. And that came out in November? No, November? October of 2002 in North America? Again, I digress. I only know the Japanese date for Kingdom Hearts 2, or Kingdom Hearts and Kingdom Hearts 2, because it's March 28th of both times. 28th? Yeah, I think so. Came out in March in Japan, and it came out on the same day, 1 and 2, which I think is weird. But when I haven't played the not Kingdom Hearts, I play that all the time. Actually, I haven't lately. I should probably fix that. God of War, and since the demo of the first one, and I watched my cousin play like bits and pieces of the first one, and the first one, or the first demo ended at the Hydra fight, so I never saw the sex thing until my cousin was like, yo, you should check this out, it's whack. And I was like, whoa, we're children. We're tiny babies. And we're like, whoa, what is happening? And then now that I've done it as an adult, I just want to know what sex acts each of those buttons actually, like, connected with. Like, when I hit square, and then triangle, and then quarter circle back, what did I do to her? Why were there two women? Are they okay? They seemed pretty cool with it. Like, what is that? It's so weird. But what do these buttons do? How does he pleasure two women at once? Which button does what? I'd love to know. The bed shakes a whole bunch. He breaks a pot. I get red orbs. I don't know. It's really weird. But the game's kind of fun. It's like, I thought it was like stupid when I first started playing it. I was like, wow, this sucks. I can't like do anything. Like my combos suck dick. Like I couldn't find a combo list. Because like it was weird. I was like, okay, I don't see anything in game. I'm playing like the PS3 digital version, so I don't have like a pamphlet. So I was like, I don't understand like if there's like a combo I'm missing with my buttons. Because like it's not shallow with its button combinations and stuff, but it's just not like it wasn't doing anything. It turns out there is a button combo sheet in the game. I'm just dumb. Maybe just the UI is bad. I don't know. But I was fucking around with it and I started like upgrading my weapon and I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. And I started to find buttons and stuff, and it actually gets really cool. There's like a lot you can do with it, and it was like actually pretty exciting. But fuck, Kratos is a mean dude. He just murders motherfuckers left and right. Don't give a fuck. Not one. Like, I was fighting some like Cyclops thing, and there were like little people running around all over Athens. They were scared. They were spooked by the big scary Cyclops. I think that's what he is. He has like a lower jawbone of some giant creature as a weapon. And he would like hit me with it. But like I could just slaughter the innocents and get health. And like at one point I was like trying, it was like the giant monster, and like when you hit them and do enough damage, they have a little prompt over the head like hit this button to fuck their face. And so I was going to the fuck my face button, and which is circle, which is also grab. And so I hit that, and then while the monster's straight in front of me, Kratos turns, grabs a woman, and stabs her to death, and then took the health from her. And I was like, Kratos, why? Why would you do this? The monster's a far more pressing priority. I didn't think you could hit the people, but it turns out you totally fucking can, and you can murder the shit out of them, and it really helps you. It's a really good thing. So that was weird. So Kratos just straight up it was like a priority. It was like an option selected to murder this woman, and I thought it was really weird. Because I wasn't even low on health. The game just option selected to murder the innocents. And like, everyone's so terrified of him. Like, people keep running into me, and they're like, oh my god, I know who you are. You're that Spartan guy. And then they're like, I'd rather die than help you. Which they all actually do. They choose death. And like, there's a woman, like, you're like, I don't even know why you are interacting with her, but she has like a key that you need, but you don't really know that until she dies. And she's like, oh my god, it's you. Stay away from me. And then your only option is pursue her. I guess to be like, I'm sorry, or please wait. And then she just falls off a balcony and dies like horribly. And then you're like, all right, I guess I'll just take the key. And like, it's so weird. Kratos just like I don't know, it's really odd. But then like the Oracle's like, nah, you cool, son. Just help me out. All right, I'm down. It's really odd. The game's like kind of fun though, so I don't really care that much. Like now that I'm like, I think I've like leveled up my blades like a couple times, so some of the spells are really cool. Apparently they add moves too once you start doing stuff. I haven't put magic into them. I don't understand, or points. I don't understand like how you level up like there's I think I still have like unlock like 3 more spells. I'm about to go to the desert, which I know leads to where you get Pandora's box, which then involves Ares throwing a broken pillar at your chest and murdering you from like really far away, and then you go to Hades and then you crawl out, and then I don't remember what happens after that. But I remember watching my cousin do all of that. So I remember him going from the desert to get Pandora's box. And I think Kratos and Pandora fuck a lot. I think that happens like throughout the games, or like they date or something. I'm not entirely sure. I just know like Pandora continuously comes back. At least I've heard that. I'm saying like I say I know, but I don't know. I just assume that's the case. But that's kind of cool. I like Pandora. She's a neat character. And like it kind of it's like she's like this like crazy thing of like chaos. Like that's kind of what he is. So that kind of matches up. And I kind of look forward to going to Hades. I think it's I remember that sequence being really cool, and like you like just crawl up like a pile of corpses, and like the guy from the Hydra's stomach, who you like steal a key from, he's like there as well. And then Kratos is like, fuck this guy for a second time in death as well, motherfucker. Kratos is a hard motherfucker. But yeah, it's kind of fun. I don't know. Like once I started getting moves and like I had like a better air game, I was like, oh, this is actually sick as fuck. Like I can actually do stuff, and like. In like one fight after like upgrading my shit, I like hit like the 200 like combo trophy like immediately, like the 200 hit combo. And I was like, oh, this is sick. And I'm fucking figuring this out now. Because like when I was playing it, I know like a lot of them have like this one doesn't, but like I know from like at least 3 has like a difficulty trophy where it's like, oh, if you beat this game on whatever the hardest difficulty is, extreme or whatever, you get this trophy. And like in Kingdom Hearts, for example, I think that game's a baby game unless you're playing on critical, and in which case it's fucking the dopest shit ever. It's literally the greatest game ever made. Kingdom Hearts 2 specifically. But like, I know that game like super inside and out, and like understand like how combo strings work, and like how you want to tie things in, and like what you want to do for certain stuff, and then how you bring in other aspects of it like magic, and how you want to apply all that in, especially in 2, how you want to compound like, because magic ended up getting a finisher option, or not an option. So like, in Kingdom Hearts, it's like you have like basic hits and finishers, for example, and you could only do that with Keyblade in 1, but in 2 they added magic to have a finisher option, so it would be like hit magic, and that magic hit would be a finisher hit, for example, or instead if you hit like, so it would you could add in magic into your combo strings into a slot within the combo string, if that makes sense. And you could also obviously add and subtract towards your combos. So like if you had like one of the big things with what is that fucking thing called? One of the mini games, you had to like break everything in one hit, and the way you do that is you use Fenrir, which is the Keyblade you get from Sephiroth, which has combo negative, which makes it so you have 1 less combo point. But if you have no combo pluses on, then you just immediately do finishers every single time, as opposed to building to that finisher. So you just like can like blow shit up real fast, and it's pretty cool. So you like collect all the little garbage together and you blow everything up at once with like explosion, which is one of the finishers, or you could do magic move, I guess, too, like fire or something. What was I saying? Oh yeah, so in that game, when someone's like, if I go to the trophy list and it's like beat the game on critical, I'm like, of course, I understand how that can be done. There's a lot of options that Kingdom Hearts gives you to make the stuff like not even difficult. You know, like I've played most of Kingdom Hearts 1, and I should go back and attempt this a second time now that I have an even greater understanding of the Kingdom Hearts 1 systems. Because I only really understood the 2 systems, like real in depth. But now I understand the first one a little better. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, so I did like most of the first game. We're talking up to the room before Ansem. So if you played the first one, there's like that room where you like kill Heartless and you complete the door after Chernobog. So there's like a door in this little hallway room, and there's a bunch of Heartless, like angels and invincibles, and Neo Shadows can spawn in that room, but not during the sequence. And like as you kill waves of them, like the door behind them completes, and then you go to the final save point, and you can go the final rest. I think is what the room behind that's called. I forget what this room's called. But I got up to that point, and I was getting fucking dunked on because like you do so little damage when you can't change your equipment. So I was trying to do like there's like a trophies for the first game where it's like don't change equipment, play on critical, no continues. Is that it? Was it just those 3 together? I forget. There's like another one maybe. And beat it within 15 hours. That was the other one. So there's 4. You do those 4 together. Each one of those individually, piss easy. All compacted on one, real hard. So that was like something I was trying, and I fucked up ability planning when you grab your weapons in the beginning. So if I redid this, I would redo it with shield, probably toss staff, toss sword. Why bother, right? You're only doing 3 damage per hit anyway. I'm not like that 1 extra point's going to change too much. Or is it 10? Is it 1? I think it's 1 point. So that wouldn't change that much. Might as well just get rid of that. Have the extra MP, or not lose the MP. That's why, yeah. You get rid of the sword, because if you get rid of staff, you lose an MP gauge, as opposed to like just losing 8 point of strength. And in that situation, you're not really doing damage, so who gives a shit? But I want to like redo that and attempt it a second time. Because it's like fun. It takes forever though. Like the Maleficent fight, the first one, holy shit. You're just like hitting her for like 2 seconds of damage, and then like she gets back on her platform, she goes flying around, you gotta break the platform again and get back up on it, and it just takes forever. Every fight is like a 30-minute battle. It's crazy. You just had so much time to this fucking game. But I can do that shit in Kingdom Hearts because I'm just so familiar with the systems, and I understand like progression. Like, okay, if I do this, I'm gonna get to this. Like I was just saying, like I understand why it became so impossibly difficult. But if I change my progression path by going shield as opposed to sword, then I'll have these abilities. I'll have like, you know, Leaf Bracer, and pretty much Leaf Bracer is all I really care about. And like once more, I think as well comes early. I think, or second chance. One of them comes early. I forget which one, but one of them comes earlier so that you can survive, Leaf Bracer, keep going, etc. So like I understand my path for that, and when I was playing God of War, I was like, man, there's just no. I feel like I'm just doing something wrong because this just feels so boring and so little. And then once I upgrade once to my weapons, it's like, no, this fucking. I see it now. Okay, so it's adding abilities that actually do a cool shit. And like I see how like you would be able, because you can really chain them all together, and eventually like every button does something, and like just holding different buttons together does stuff, and it like adds and compacts, and it's fucking dope. But I'm not that far, I don't think. The game can beat in like 5 hours, I think. So we'll see. But I'll definitely get back to that because I want to play all of them leading into the new one. Because apparently the new one's like a goddamn masterpiece or something. So I'll play that as well. But I don't really know much about that. What else I want to talk about? I like rambled and ranted for so long on 2 things. I guess I could quickly talk. You know what I'll do? I'm going to talk about One Piece, and then potentially I'm going to talk about movies. But if I go too long, because I don't want to go for too long, being myself. Because I want to talk about Quiet Place and Isle of Dogs, but I kind of want to spoil a bit of A Quiet Place. I'll definitely put that at the end if I do that. Because I have thoughts. Boy, do I have the thoughts. But I'll talk about One Piece, because Whole Cake Island ended, which is the most recent arc, where the gang, half the gang, because like Frankie, Zoro, Robin didn't go. Is that everyone? Oh, Usopp, I guess, didn't go as well. Yeah. Right, okay, yeah, so like a couple of the boys. Yeah, so half the crew didn't go. They're over in another place with the samurai people. But they went to go save Sanji from his wedding, because you don't leave the Straw Hats Luffy, don't let that shit happen. So it was like a side quest, but it's like one of the longest arcs. And I think I looked at a graph. I think it's the second longest arc, third longest arc, somewhere in there. With I think just Dressrosa, which is the one before this. Two before. I don't know if you count Zoe as an arc. I think it's kind of like an in-between arc. I kind of consider those like a thing. Like Punk Hazard, I'd say like an in-between arc. That kind of like branches to the next one. It's like it sets things up for the bigger arc that matters. So it's like really fucking long, and it's like a side quest. It's weird. And like I'm always like kind of like, I would say One Piece is not at its strongest when it's not like on the main quest, when there's not like progression down the grand line. Like Skypiea, I wasn't a huge fan of because it was like they weren't moving towards the grand line. Because like One Piece feels kind of like a race, but also not really. Because like obviously someone has to get the One Piece, but no one knows how. So like if you could figure it out faster, but like Skypiea it worked out because they actually found things up there that they needed. But it's like a side quest where it's like Luffy's like, no, I'm gonna go do this instead. Instead of going straight, we're gonna go, in that case, straight up, into the sky. And then this one, they're like, all right, we got to go save our friend, which is cool. I think that was really cool. And we got to, learn about this whole fucking family, this huge crew, and like their various things. And like they've been like talked about, because that's the cool thing. The Yonkos are always talked about, where it's like, oh, fucking, Big Mom's got this territory, or fucking Kaido doing this thing, and like they'll bring them up, but they're not. Button. I don't know. I guess we're good. They'll like bring them up, but they're not doing anything. They're just entities out there. You meet some of their crew members, but you don't meet them. So this is like our first like encounter and like really seeing like their territory, what that means to be in like their territory. And like she had this huge archipelago. She had all these islands, and like I thought it was kind of silly at first, where it's like all the islands are named after food because Big Mom's thing's like eating. She's a Big Mom. She eats food. She like whatever, and like all of her kids have like names based on foods and powers and devil fruit powers based on food that corresponds with their name. But like upon like meeting the crew and like Big Mom herself, like yeah, she's totally the kind of like arrogance that's like, no, I'm gonna name you Oven and then get you a heating fruit. Like I'm gonna make sure that happens. No, I'm gonna name you Cracker and you're gonna definitely eat this fruit that makes you a cracker. Like like she's definitely so self-centered that she's like, no, I'm gonna make sure that this name fits you perfectly. So it's not like super silly or weird. It like, okay, it makes sense because like she's crazy. But yeah, it's really fucking cool. There's a lot of cool battles. Luffy having to go Cirrus mode, which I always love. The pirates are fucking cool too. The villains are cool. Not all of them. Like some of them, like Cracker's kind of fucking lame, but like Katakuri, who has the mochi power, which I had to look up, is like a pudding thing. It's very rubbery. He basically was a foil to Luffy, but I didn't know that because I didn't know what mochi was until I looked it up. So I read like several chapters with a vague understanding of what mochi was. It's like a elasticy pudding, like a taffy, I guess, but closer to the liquid. I don't know. He tried to suffocate him with it once as a move. Luffy, that is, or Katakuri tried to suffocate Luffy with like throwing it at him. I don't know how it works. I've never had it. It's a rice based. I know that much. It's very Japanese. I don't know. But like that fight was awesome, and like having to like learn how stuff, and like the way it like ended. So like the chapter 902, was actually really great. It like really like wrapped up a lot of stuff where it's got like, because like Katakuri had like this thing where he's like, people who lay down are weak and pathetic, and I hate them all. And no one's ever seen me on my back, and I don't like, but whatever. He's got like this weird standard, like this thing, and he wears like the scarf, and it was all like building to him of being like, he just loves being like a lazy fat boy, and he's like jacked as fuck, but he likes just laying on his back, eating donuts, and like he's got this crazy like big mouth that he get made fun of all the time, but he didn't give a shit because he was always like a tough dude, but like people would make fun of him, he would just beat them up, like, fuck you, I don't care. But then they would come back and attack his siblings, who he cares deeply about. Like, a lot of the family, like, they're a family. They're so big that, like, not a lot of them even really interact with each other, but a couple of them are very tight-knit with each other. And, like, so these bullies, like, hurt his sister, so he's like, fuck it, I'll just cover my face. I don't want people to, like, say things so that I would get mad, and, like, I don't want to cause more problems than that need to exist. So, like, it developed him in a cool way, and, like, he talking to his one sister about it, and she's like, no, I always knew you could land on your back. She's got like this mirror power, and he's like, I just never told anyone. And, like, but like previously, we hit one of the other sisters was like his biggest fan, but once finding out he's like got a monster face and was like being soft on Luffy because he respected Luffy for being like, putting up and like keep fighting and being determined. Where she was like, oh, what a bitch, and like would run away, and he was like, fuck you, like get out of here. So like, and she was like, I'm just gonna tell everyone that you have a weird face and you're all fucking gross and you're bad at fighting and you're a wimp. And he was like, fuck off, I don't even give a shit. Like, I'm gonna respect my opponent. It was a duel. We agreed to duel as men. So get the fuck out of here. And like, but like, it was a big part of him being like, I don't want to be like outed basically from this big weird gross mouth. But like Burleigh is like, no, I always do. I just respecting your privacy. It's like, oh, these characters like care about each other. It's wonderful. And like, I was listening to a podcast about One Piece, and they're like, there's like Katakuri and like Pudding, which is the girl that Luffy or Sanji was supposed to marry. And he was actually like, oh, you're actually really cute and nice, but she has like a third eye, and she's always thought she's like a weirdo. And like, he didn't laugh. He's like, oh, you're pretty. Like, I like your third eye, and I think it's cute and stuff like that. And like, so she kind of like fell in love with him, and like just actually wanted to help him out. And like, so like, because Sanji and Luffy are such homies, like, the two members of this like crazy powerful pirate crew could potentially leave, and like Katakuri is like her strongest man, like their strongest pirate fighter person. It's like her Zoro basically, her second in command or something. Maybe not second in command, because I think that's what's his name, Porian, the taffy, or no, was he licorice or something? Whatever. He looks like the licorice guy from Candyland. But like he might just leave. He might just be like, fuck this place. Like, I'll take, like, Burleigh because she's nice to me or whatever. And, like, she's got a pretty strong power. She's, like, a mirror person. And, like, she's like, all right, fuck it, we'll leave. And, like, Pudding, she has, like, a memory thing. And, like, she actually falls in love with, like, Sanji. And, like, at one point, like, at the very end, she's like, oh, I gotta tell you something, Sanji. He's like, what? And she kisses him. And then she can, like, take his memory of that away. And so she just has it for, like, herself. Because, like, he needs to go on an adventure. He can't be worrying about me. He can't be thinking about me. He has like this bigger job to do of becoming, helping Luffy become the Pirate King, and he's got to find, because every character in the Straw Hats, like they have their own dream of, his is like finding All Blue, being One Piece, best swordsman, etc., stuff like that. So they all have like a dream, and she's like, I'm part of this fucked up family, but like I can't leave because I'm only like one little person. Like she's like, she's like a 18-year-old girl or whatever. She's like, I'm not like. I'm a big, like, she's a good spy, but she's not, like, she doesn't have the power to, like, run away. So she's like, I just have to let you go, and I have my obligations here. And it was, like, really sweet little moment where she's, like, crying, and she's like, I just want to be with it. It was adorable. Like, understanding everyone's position and everyone's place. And, like, but there's a possibility that Katakuri and her, and, like, Burleigh would be like, fuck this place, we'll just leave. And, like, Katakuri can, like, protect them and, like, do stuff. Oh, it'd be dope. It'd be so sick. And yeah, it was just like so nice. Where like, and like, there's a whole thing about like because like Sanji meets his like actual parents and his actual family, and they're all scumbags, but kind of not. They kind of helped him out at the end. And there's like a little section at the end where it was the guy who raised him, basically the chef that raised him from the first like arc, Zeph, and it was like how they like paralleled with each other, where it's like, no, we'll take care of you as long as you want to eat, and like, because that's like his motto, and like their thought, and it's like showing like, no, this is his dad, this is his actual, like, this is the guy who raised him, this is the guy who made Sanji who he is today, not the guy that we met earlier. Like that guy is just his blood, this guy's his father, that kind of thing. It was really sweet. Like it ended so well. I wasn't even a huge fan of like leading into it because it was kind of weirdly silly with like the food puns and all this shit, but it all really mattered, and it all kind of played into the thing, and actually seemed like, and Oda always just seems to like lead things into things where like you'll be reading it like, is this going anywhere? And then eventually it kind of does. You're like, oh, that was kind of cool. I'm kind of glad that exists. That was nice. And like, it's just kind of sweet. I don't know. I'm a big fan. One Piece is wonderful. The best. Big fan. It just does so many great little things, and it just plays with the emotions. But it's also like really funny and like cool and like action packed and does like dope things. Where like, Luffy goes into fucking Gear 4 with Snake Man, and everyone's like, when he says that in the chapter ends, everyone's like, what the fuck is Snake Man? Are you shitting me? And it's just fucking awesome. Oh, so cool. So cool. Like, and like, you can like see his progression in fighting, where like this fight, he had to learn his observation haki so he could see into the future a little bit, kind of like a foresight. If he gets it so much stronger. And so like, but Katakuri's is like the strongest in the world, so he can like basically see every move coming. So having to like figure that out so that they can compete with each other and stuff. Fucking dope. Big fan. Oh god, so good. One Piece is the best. So fun. Oh man. And it's like weird too, kind of like reading Berserk too at the same time. So it's like Berserk, real great, not that fun. A lot of bad happens to people in that one. It's very, very real, very dark. And then One Piece is also fucking great, but fun as fuck. So it's a fun little parallel to while reading both those. And they're both like super detailed and like you can tell the author cares. At least at this point in Berserk. I think he starts like doing something differently with the artwork. It gets a little weird, but I digress. Yeah, I guess that's it. I mean, I can talk briefly about Isle of Dogs and A Quiet Place. Isle of Dogs, adorable, sweet, magical, wonderful. I loved it. It was great. It's kind of like it's kind of dreamlike, like a lot of Wes Anderson movies. Stop motion is wonderful. They do a little thing in the beginning where they're like, everyone's gonna talk in their native tongue unless there's like a translator or magic science, and then all barks are gonna be in English. It's like, oh, delightful, absolutely delightful. And like the pacing that like conversations take is very fun, very nice. I like stop motion though, so I'm glad it exists like that. But it's it was a lot of fun. It's small little story, about a boy and his dog, basically. It's just really sweet. It's really sweet. It's really cool to watch, like just the cool animation, and then just having this like it was like a really cool like the way they did like the language stuff because it takes place in Japan, and the cast is wonderful. All the dogs are like really famous people. There's like Bill Murray, Ed Norton, Bryan Cranston. What the hell? Who else is? I don't remember. I can't remember who else is in as the dog. But all the dogs are like really famous people. I can't fucking remember the one guy. I don't remember. Harvey Keitel is one of the dogs. Not one of the main dogs, I don't think. I forget if he was. I don't remember. Oh my god. The guy from Thor who was in Thor Ragnarok, he's in Jurassic Park. Jeff Goldblum. There it is. My god. Couldn't remember his name. He's one of the dogs. Yeah, so it's like fun. There's like a lot of like fun, cool voices. And, like they're just like really goofy and like very like that weird, almost like stilted conversation that Wes Anderson movies have, but are like charming. So that was great. I'm a big fan of his movies, and like he does like really interesting framing and has like very interesting song choices. And like I can understand someone watching them and be like, "Wow, this is the hipsterest shit in the world," but like it's heartwarming for me. I enjoy it. I'm like, "Oh, it's so sweet, it's so wholesome." Look at you, everyone's getting their thing. Everyone's going well. They're gonna save the day. It's gonna be goofy and fun. But yeah, they would have parts where like the Japanese characters would speak, and like they wouldn't have subtitles. They wouldn't have anyone even translate it. They would just this person was talking, and it was like, all right, I guess that would just be the situation. Occasionally, most often, they would have like a translator or something, and like the one they have a thing that would take care of it. But yeah, there were some times where they just didn't, and I'm like, oh, this is weird. Kind of like it though. It's kind of a nice touch. Because you don't see that often. Usually everything's just translated. Or you do like what Metal Gear Solid 3 did, where it was like, everyone speaks English, but have a guy in the beginning be like, wow, your Russian's really good. And then we just, all right, I guess we're all speaking Russian then the whole time. That kind of thing. That was really fun. I really, really liked that one a lot. And I guess I won't go into big spoils. But I think The Quiet Place was dumb and not great. Everyone thinks it's so great, but it's kind of dumb. And like, a lot of the conflict happens because people are dumb, because kids are dumb, and dumb kids make dumb things happen. And like there's no real consistency with the monsters. And like I don't know why they wouldn't just like do a few things that the movie establishes the monsters can't hear all the time. But they don't do that all the time. So they just have to do things really quiet, and that was dumb. The world's really cool and the monsters are a cool design. But, like, it was dumb. There was a lot of dumb things. Like, they go to a river, and, like, they're like, hey, we're at a river, but we can talk, because the river's really loud, and the monsters aren't going to come to the river place, because they can't hear, they don't think to hear anything here, as long as we're not louder than the river. I don't know why I don't live by the river, then. Or at least, like, start moving stuff to the river. They've been out for a year, and, like, that was weird. Or, like, anything like that. Like, I don't understand. There's another part where they, like, go into the basement with his wife, Jim from The Office. I can't remember his real name. Or his character's name. And he's like, it worked. We can talk. What worked? What did you do? You put a mattress over the door to the basement? That's all it took? Why aren't you always doing that then? Like, what did you do? I don't understand. And it's just like, I guess you can talk. But like, wouldn't you just always do? I don't know. It was weird. And like the kids like run off and be dumb, so then Jim's got to go off and be dumb to go save his dumb kids. But like, they totally kind of just left the one dumb kid. It's stupid. They had a lot of dumb moments, dumb stuff. And like the one thing too I thought was weird, and like I only realized that this is potentially how it works because of the poster, but like Jim has like a whiteboard, and it's like his like notes of the monster and like what he's learned so far, and like as he's trying to break it down, and like one of them is like attack sound. I'm like, that makes sense, that's fair. We've seen that happen throughout the movie. But like, the monster shows up at one point in the movie and like attacks towards the sound, obviously. But then it never leaves. Just hangs out there for like fucking all night. I think it's like a literal, like the whole night. I think it's the movie takes place like throughout over a night and like ends with the sun rising or whatever. But like, do they hunt the sound as well? Don't they just like go to a sound and be like, not here, or like this? Like, you would think that these things are darting all over the fucking place because like it's been a year of no maintenance on any of these buildings, and like trees are gonna start falling down. Like, so like, yeah, they don't go to rivers because that's consistent sound, but like what, like if a house starts to break down, they would go there all the time. There'd be so much running around, trees falling over. What's this? Are you gonna hunt for like 12 hours in this area, going like, I gotta find what this noise was? Like, it was a tree, or like, oh, this house is falling apart because there's no one taking care of it. I've seen Life After Humans. That shit happens almost immediately. Wouldn't they just be running through cities constantly being like, there's fucking food here, but really just like fucking like buildings falling over? And like, what? Why do they hunt from here? That doesn't make any sense. And then also, if it's consistent sound that makes them not come near you, wouldn't you just run like a loud noise through your house all the time? And then you can hang out and fart? I don't understand. Like, what are you doing? I didn't get it. Like, it was like small things like that, where it's like, well, if water stops it, and like he has all this technology, so he's got the big radios, and like it's shown that he goes to like tech stores in the beginning because he gets like a thing, a little piece of like, it's like a circuit board or something, and his daughter's like, what's that? And he's like, oh, it's gonna help make my radius bigger. Just use that, and then a bunch of big speakers. Go get a bunch of speakers, put them around your property. And then instead of stringing lights, because he's clearly like setting shit up like crazy. He's got lights everywhere that like you can put on for the night. They put sand down so you can walk on that. All great. But like, just get a couple of giant fucking speakers and just run like a constant high pitched like screeching noise, so that like you eventually get used to it, but then they're also gonna get used to it. And then you can talk and hang out, but it's like wicked fucking loud and like goes way over. You guys wear like headphones or earplugs all the time. Do something. But like, why not? Just make this thing never show up. They'll never come by. You guys can hang out all you want. It was weird. It seemed like there was a lot of weird fixes. And like the conflict of the end result of the movie, like what they learned about the monster, it's like, I feel like the government would have figured this out, or like just anyone would have figured out how to stop them. Because like, it's weird. Like, when you look at the monster, like I looked at the monster like once, I'm like, oh, like the monster sounds cool. Like, it's like a big hard shelled head that can like open up, and it's like a big ear. So the whole head is an ear and a mouth, basically. Or 2 ears, I guess. Giant ear canals. And then the plating of the helmet helps it like direct where the sound is, so it can like further funnel in where the sound is, which makes sense for a monster that hunts sound and like attacks sound. But like, if it's just a giant ear, like first off, it has to open up to like make like really hear stuff. Just shoot it then, blow that ear off. I don't know. It really has to open up to make this happen. You see this giant fucking ear, like it opens all the plating, and it's just a bunch of fucking cartilage. Just shoot that shit. You know, it's like, wouldn't even something simple as that, and like, you know, other certain things you could do. There seems like a lot of options where like these things wouldn't really overrun humanity within a year, but I don't know. Or like 90 days. I think the movie starts at like day 89, and like the town of Little Falls, which is like 45 minutes from here, which is kind of cool, is like a ghost town. Like, I don't understand how you wouldn't just, like, the government wouldn't just be rolling through. I mean, I guess it's a small town in upstate New York, so yeah, that would be the last place you'd want to worry about. take care of like the major cities. But like, I don't know. You think if they were taking care of major cities, that'd make a lot of noise. So then they would go to the noise to hunt the noise. And because they hunt noise for 12 fucking hours, they would just be around and then be slowly murdered. I don't know. Cool concept, really dumb execution. It kind of, I was talking to Mike about this. He hadn't seen the movie, but I was like, it's kids being dumb, and that's the main, like, where a lot of the conflict comes from. He's like, oh, it's like Jurassic Park. I'm like, yeah, that's why Jurassic Park sucks. Dumb kids being dumb kids cause a lot of conflict. And then they just have magical moments of being fucking geniuses, which is really stupid. And they like outsmart like the Raptors. After the Raptors have this huge fucking build-up throughout the movie and like this huge like monologue by whatever his name is in the beginning, where he's like, and they have like little razor blades as each finger, and they would split you up from your neck to your belly button and then eat you up. And like none of that comes to fruition, and it was dumb. And like this huge introduction for the T-Rex with the water and all that shit. And then he just sneaks up on 3 raptors at the end of the movie, making zero noise, zero anything shaking. He just shows up, blows through a wall, and eats some raptors, roars, and then the banner falls down behind him and it looks cool. But like, what the fuck was all that build up for? Jurassic Park sucks. Stop living the lie. Wake up, sheeple. It's a dumb movie. Alright, I'm done. Those are my thoughts. I guess I didn't actually spoil The Quiet Place. I thought I was going to, but I didn't. There's not really much to spoil. Just a spooky monster movie. That's not spooky. I just don't like monster movies, I guess. I really want to. I keep trying. It never works out. I guess I liked It. It was cool. So I like 1. Hopefully that sequel comes out pretty good. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Dem movies be dumb. I think that's everything I'm going to talk about. I only wrote down 5 things, which I've talked about, each one. And really, it was only like 3. I want to talk about Quiet Place, Power Rangers, and the whole Kick Island arc, but a couple other things happened. I want to talk about them briefly, so. That's everything for me. This has been delayed because I'm dumb. I don't know how to do schedules. So, I'm sorry. I lied. I was like, oh, we actually have a real schedule. We actually have a consistent release. Turns out, not the case. And I should just not lie to you people. Or continue to lie to you people. And we just live this facade forever. Yeah. I actually have people lined up for the next 2 weeks. So, expect people and expect consistency. Like a real person. For once in my year of doing this. How exciting. Oh, I put out a trailer. I didn't put out a trailer. I did a trailer for someone else who put it out. Claim to Fame's tournament. I can link the thing on Facebook below if you want to see it. Because I think they put it on Facebook, not YouTube. I think that's where it is. So if it's a YouTube link, I'll just put the YouTube link. If it's not, I'll put the thing. Regardless, I did that. I did like 2 other versions too, different songs. I might just upload those for myself, for like a portfolio thing. But I might also theoretically link those down below as well if I have them uploaded at the same time. Because I want to just kind of have them, so I might as well just like show them off as other versions of this thing. What could have been and what could have not. I don't know. Could be fun. Could be fun to just kind of see it behind the scenes. Like, here's what kind of things were looking like at one point. Like the one version's like the very first version, and then there's like the second version, and this final version is the one they asked for. So I gave them that, and it was fun. I enjoy doing little trailers for Smash. It's fun. I don't know much of the games anymore, but it's neat to try to like figure it out and then match the theme to the tournament and that kind of stuff. So having to think differently every time. Like I did like 2 of those CGC ones, which is on this channel, on the YouTube channel version of this. They're still there. They're not like private or anything. They're just actually there. And they're like a vaporwave one. And the first one was really fun to do because I was like, oh, I kind of want to try this. And having to do that the second time was kind of boring. So doing like a different thing every trailer is kind of fun. Probably should add the one I did for Blacklist somewhere on my channel, just so I can get to it quickly if I need to show someone, because that one was kind of interesting. It was like a street theme, like a back alley type thing. That's why it was Blacklist or whatever. And I did I was in like a weird one. It was like events, like side events or something. Was the tournament? So like the footage was like interesting. We had like figure out how to do footage for like all random and stuff like that, and like try to figure out songs and stuff like that. So that was like really weird. Like we were like trying like a weird thing. And like events like got canceled and added random stuff. I was like, that's really weird. We're doing a weird thing here. So that was kind of neat. And this one was like a Greek theme, so that was neat too. I think that's it. I don't really know why I even went into that, but I did. I don't know when this is going to go out. Hopefully soon. I think that's everything. Email the show, yourbraintom@gmail.com. Apply to be my secretary. That's not necessarily true, though. You don't have to do that. Yeah, it's kind of a joke. But I don't think that's everything. But yeah, you can email the show. Questions, comments, concerns, threats, applications. I think that's it, though. I keep saying that, but I feel like I'm forgetting something. I don't think so. All right, see you on the next one. Toot, toot, toot. Love and kisses.